How's it going, YouTube? Jimmy here again. So, last time we left off with the Honda, we did... I don't remember what we did. I think we did the front door panel, so we need to work on the back door panel if I remember correctly. And I don't. So yeah, let's just jump right into this. So, the first thing I want to do, because... Did I do the door panel? I can't remember. Yeah, I did the door panel. Okay. Alright. So, let's go ahead and start working on the back door panel. And before I get too western with this, is what I want to do is I actually want to click on these two doors. I'm going to remove them from layer 12. So that's why I can remove those. And I'm actually going to create a new layer for these. So that's why I can remove those like so and still be able to see what I'm doing. You don't have to do that. This is just what I'm choosing to do. Because I think it'll be a little bit easier in the long run, and this way I don't have to sit there and fart with everything where everything's in the way like this. So that's just what I'm going to choose to do. Now I know there's this huge gap. Whenever we put the pillars inside, that's going to cover that gap up, so don't stress over that too much at all because it's going to be really easy. In fact, even the frame right here, we're going to end up remanipulating this, and this way it'll mesh up with everything real nicely. So don't stress over that. That will be taken care of. Probably be later on after we do the pillar and everything, but it will be taken care of later on in tutorial videos, and later tutorial videos. So let's jump into the side view. And as you can see, we already got a problem with this. The problem is this door panel does not line up like it should. I'm going to go ahead and scale it down. I'm going to move it up probably right about here. I still need to scale it down just a little bit, not too much. So this should be pretty good to work with. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I was actually like thinking to myself, do I just want to take the front and duplicate it over? But I don't want to do that because the front has this deep curve and this one does not. So I'm just going to create this one, and yeah, let's just go ahead and create a polyplane. I'm just going to do that real quickly, and we'll go ahead and go into edge. And let's just start extruding these edges. So I'm going to extrude this one to about here. I'm going to hit the G key to extrude again. I'm going to do it one more time. And right here I'm going to scale this down and move this right about here. I'm going to go into vertex. Come on. I'm going to move that one there. I'm going to move this one here. I'm going to move that one here and move this one here. You can already see where I'm going with this. Thinking I'm not going to actually match this up here because then I have to create these edge loops and come on, you guys, that's just a pain in the ass. So I'm just going to move these down to about here, because this part right here is actually flat, so this will actually curve inwards. And technically the front one does do that. I just didn't think about it whenever I made it, but I mean, it's no big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude right about here. I'm going to press G on the keyboard. I'm just making a series of extrusions. That's all I'm doing. As you can tell, I really wasn't even worried about lining anything up. So I'm going to move that one probably right about here. Move this one right here. I'm actually going to move this one down right about here. I'm going to go and move this one down just a little bit. So that's why we have a nice smooth curve and everything. Let me go into edge. I'm going to click on this edge and this edge. I'm going to go ahead and extrude upwards. Now when I extrude upwards right here, I'm just going to hit the F key to frame in on that. I'm actually going to pull all this out. Wrong view. And then I'm going to press the extrude button again. I'm going to come up to about here. Before I do that, I'm going to go and just move this over. Okay, so is what I want to do, actually is what I can do is go into edge. Since I have this whole edge selected, I can just flatten this out and bring it up like that. I think that would be a lot easier. Let me go ahead and pull this in just a little bit more. Go into vertex. Oops. I don't know why that just happened. Because I suck. That's why it happened. Boom! Alright, so anyways. Let's select these. I'm just going to pull these down a little bit. Something kind of like that, I'm thinking. There we go. Go ahead and move this down just a little bit. And what we can do, let's go ahead and select these. I'm going to extrude these out right about here, I'm thinking. So this one's going to be extruded. I'm going to move this one right about here. This one right here, I'm actually going to come in here. Oh, wait, I need to grab this one up here. I'm just going to flatten these out like so. And then I'm just going to pull these. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I was thinking about it, but then I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and start moving these into position right about here. Now these I am going to smooth out right here, so I will be manipulating those a little bit. But when I do, no, I don't want to grab that. I just want to grab that vertex down here. There we go. So now when I hit 3, alright. So what I want to do is I want to create an edge loop. I'm going to create an edge loop right about here, and 2 of them right here. So when I hit 3, now we have that curve that we'd expect to see. And obviously we don't have the curve down here, or do we? No, the curve stops right here. So what we want to do is we actually want to come in here. We'll click on this edge, and we'll click on these 2 edges, and we're just going to delete those. And we want to keep that edge, but we don't want it to continue on, so we need to grab the cut tool. We'll click right here, and we'll cut that down to there. Do the same thing. So now when we hit 3, there we go. That looks good. Okay, let's see if this travels all the way, and it does. Okay, so we should be good there. So is what I want to do here. This is going to be real similar to what I did in the front. I'm going to move this here. Ah, crap. There we go. Move that one there. I'm going to move this one here. And so what I want to do is I want to grab these edges right here. Come on. And I'm going to go into extrude. I'm going to pull this in about right there. Press G on the keyboard. I'm going to come down, something about like that. Press G on the keyboard again. I'm going to come in. I'm going to come up. Press G on the keyboard. I'm going to come up right about here. Why do I keep going into that window, guys? Why? So I'm just going to move this up here. There we go. Alright, so let me go ahead and bring these down just a little bit. So that's where we have the shadow that comes all the way across. I'm going to go ahead and click on these edges now. Or actually, is what I'll do is I'll just do this. So that's why I have everything selected. And I'm going to go ahead and pull these up like so. Then we'll come into vertex. We're going to pull these down right about there. And what I'm doing here will make sense in just a little bit. I promise it will. So now that we've gotten that, this is about what you should have. Something like this. I'm actually going to click on this whole edge loop right here, and I'm going to extrude this up just a little bit. Oh, wrong view. I'm going to go ahead and extrude it out. And then I'm going to hit G on the keyboard. I'm going to pull it up just a little bit. So now is what I can do is I can come in here into vertex, and I can move this one right about here, and I can go ahead and start moving these profiles where they need to be. So something like this, I'm thinking. There we go. Alright, so now that we have done that, we're going to have this gaping hole, obviously. Whoa. So what we need to do is we'll go ahead and click on the append to poly object, and I don't know which way this is going. Looks like it's going up, so yeah, it was going up. It doesn't really matter because of the fact that I'm just clicking on it. Now this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, but then we'll have the one up there that's going to be a 5. So the easiest way to do this is click right here. We'll press G on the keyboard. We'll click right here. Press G on the keyboard, and we'll click one more time. So you should have this little V shape right here. It's going to be the easiest way to do that, and this way we don't have to worry about anything that's more than 4 sides. In fact, this one right here is what we can do. I just now noticed this. We can click 1, 2, and 3. Oh, no, wrong way. Let's click 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's 4 sides. And then we'll do the same thing over here. I have to go around like this. So let's press G on the keyboard, and we'll just come around like that. And I'm actually going to create something like this. This one, I should have done that over there, but you know what? Problems. There we go. So that should be 4 sides, and it is. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is actually need to take this edge. I'm going to extrude this up. Then we're going to click on the Append to Poly object. We'll just create a polygonal surface right there. So once we have all of our surfaces created, what we want to do is we want to go into Face and select these faces up here, and we want to pull those out where they're about even. They don't have to be super even, but you want them pretty close. So I'm thinking, go back one, and let me just see what that looks like. So actually that doesn't look too bad. Now one thing I do want to say, if you want, you can always grab these faces in here. We'll deselect these faces over here, and this way you can just kind of pull this out a little bit. Yep, got another face selected. Okay, then you can just kind of pull this out like that. And then to really put emphasis on it, you can pull it out just a little bit more like that. So this way it actually has a cubby hole. If you want, you can also come in here, select all of those, and you can pull that out as well. And if I can press the right button on the keyboard, you can actually scale it around like that and just move it like that. And last thing is you can just grab the edge and pull it out like that in the center. And so this way you have this little cubby hole shape like that. If you want this to be more squared down here in the bottom, all you have to do is come up here to the edge loop, and if I can, there we go, then you can just add an edge loop. Let's go into object mode. So this is what you'd have by adding that edge loop. It's just a little bit more square, but does give it a little bit more detail. Not really recommended. Just really depends on what your application is, how much detail you want in it, so completely optional. So what I want to do now is probably want to go ahead and grab this vertice. I'm going to pull this vertice out just a little bit. So this way this is nice and smooth. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Something like that. So this way this is nice and smooth all the way around. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. So then the next thing we need to do is we're going to be building all this up around here, but we're going to do that using the extrusion tool. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and extrude this up. I need to press 1 on the keyboard. And then we'll go ahead and just move these up around here. Now when I do this, I'm going to start matching, I'm going to start matching all of these points up with the top part of this. And this way, let me move this one. But anyways, this way is what I can do is after I move these out by extruding them, I can just start manipulating everything else I need to manipulate with it, and it will look good. I hope. By the way, whenever I say, I hope, how many of you are like, oh crap? Because I remember whenever my teacher would be like, I hope, I was always like, ah crap. So, just kind of curious about that, you guys. One thing I do want to say is this right here, I actually need to move these vertices in right about here. And the only reason is so this way this part will be extruded out evenly. So I'm going to click on all these faces, and I'm going to go ahead and extrude this out like so. I'm going to make one small extrusion. I'm going to press G on the keyboard and move it out, and then I'm actually going to scale it down just a little bit. Probably need to go ahead and move it up some. Click on the manipulator tool, and there we go. So now when I press 3, it should have that shape. And I actually want it more squared than that on the outside, so I'm going to create an edge loop like that. So now we have that. Alright, so let's go back in here. Now right here, this is actually a spot to grab it. So I'm going to select these faces right here, and I'm going to extrude these in just a little bit. I'm going to press G on the keyboard. I'm going to move them down. I'm going to scale them in. I'm going to press G on the keyboard one more time and go down just a little bit. So now we should have this shape. And if you want more emphasis on that, like I do, this is actually one of the times I do want more emphasis on something. I'm actually going to, well no, I don't want to do that. I actually just want to grab these faces. I'm going to pull these faces out. Ah, you bastard. There we go. So I'm going to grab these faces, I'm going to pull them out like that, and I'm going to grab this face and pull it out like that. Afterwards, I'm going to grab these edges and these edges. I'm going to pull these out, and I'm going to grab these two edges and pull these out. So that's the shape you should have. So then the next thing we need to do is we'll take this whole edge loop, or I say edge loop, it's actually just an outside edge. I'm going to take it all the way back to here, and I'm going to extrude this up. Now this one, when I extrude, I'm actually going to want to match this up. I'm just going to make them flat. So you should end up with something kind of like that. And then is what we'll do is we'll go into vertex. We'll move that one there. Move this one here. Move this one here. We'll start moving all these up. And I'm trying to get it right in the middle of that crease, because we'll end up doing the same thing that we did on the front door panel, where we just create edge loop below it and above it, and just went right across. So it's going to be the exact same thing. Now this right here is real interesting, because this actually, I think it curves in. I don't know, I can't really tell. But I'm just going to create this vertex where it stops right there, and this one's going to stop right about here. So to add this in here is what we'll do is we'll go into the cut tool. Come on. I'm going to start the cut right there. And I'm going to finish the cut right there. So then we'll go into vertex and we'll just move this right here. Easy. After that, we'll click on this whole edge loop again. I keep saying edge loop. I don't know if you really call that an edge loop or if you just call that an outside edge. To each their own. I don't know. But anyways, we'll just extrude this up. I'm actually going to extrude this up to right about, I'm just going to extrude it up to the door where it's right about there. So I'm actually going to bring this down just a little bit, but then I'm going to go into vertex, and I actually want to keep this uniform, so that way this stays uniform. So I'm just going to move that there. I'm going to move this one here. About like that. Pull that one down just a little bit. Move that one there. Move this one here. So now all I'm doing is just trying to move all these vertices. Now I know I'm not matching up to the door itself. The reason why, because I still need to create the rest of it. So as what I'll do is I'll just click on one edge twice, as long as it's an outside edge, and now I'll select the entire outside perimeter of the edge. So let's go ahead and click on the extrude button. Now when I do this, you can use the manipulator tool right here and just scale it out like that. That's completely optional. Actually, that came out pretty good. I am rolling with it. But the other thing we need to do is we need to pull it back like this. So then we'll go into the edge loop tool. I'm going to create a sharp edge right here. Then I'm going to create one more edge like this. So when we hit 3 on the keyboard, we should have this shape. So then the next thing, let me press 1 on the keyboard. Let's go into the edge loop tool. We'll create an edge loop right here, right here. Then we'll select the center edge loop. We're going to pull this in. We're going to press 3. Let's see what we get. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't like how it disappears right here, but that does look pretty good. So why does that disappear? Alright. That can all go away. There we go. I got it selected that time. Oh, that's why it went away. Because it stopped right there. Okay. Now, let me line it back up. So I need to come in here. I don't know how I didn't notice that, but I didn't. There we go. So now we can select that edge loop, pull this in the rest of the way. So now when we hit 3, got that even shape all the way around. It still kind of fades out right here. So I'm gonna work on that a little bit and see if I can get that where it needs to be. Going to go and click on that to bring this in, and that should be it. Yeah, that fixed it. Okay, sweet. So the next thing we want to do is, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. But we do want to come in here. I'm going to grab these 3 faces. I'm actually going to extrude these. I'm going to pull them down. I'm going to pull them in about like that. Let me frame in on them. Then I'm going to pull them in just a little bit like this. I'm going to press G on the keyboard. Pull them in just a little bit. I'm going to press G on the keyboard again. I'm going to pull them in. And then I'm going to press G on the keyboard. And I'm going to scale them in like so. So now we should have this shape. I don't know if I did that for the front or not. If I didn't, oops. Simple fix though. I'm like, you seen how easy I did that just now. So if you want these to match, just simply grab these right here. And probably a good idea to grab these as well. But then just pull them forward like that. Easy. Create the door handles real easy too. I'm just going to do that real quick actually. I'm just going to create a plane. Come in here to vertex. I'm going to pull this back. Then I'll come in here to edge. I'm going to extrude this out about like that. I'm going to press G on the keyboard. Press G on the keyboard again. I'm only going to move it a little bit. I'm actually going to rotate it. Press G on the keyboard again. I'm going to rotate it some more. G on the keyboard again. I'm going to flatten it all the way down. G on the keyboard again. Move that. G on the keyboard again. And this should be the last time. So then is what you do. Actually, that's going down a little too far. I don't want to go past that, so I'm going to stop it right about here. But then we'll take these edges right here. I need to pull this one back just a hair more. I'm coming right up here to where this shading is. So, like that. I actually don't see that. Oops. I actually don't see any shading up here, so I'm actually just going to grab all the way down here. I'm going to press the extrusion button. Pull that back to right about here. I'm going to scale it down and move it down right about here. I'm going to pull that in. I'm going to select all the way around. I'm going to extrude back just a little bit. We'll extrude one more time. There we go. So now when you press 3, you'll have this shape. And then to get it an actual shape, we'll select these bottom vertices and we'll just pull this up. Create an edge loop right here if you want this to be sharp. Completely optional. If you're working on this for a video game, I would not recommend adding these extra edge loops. Like, I would really not recommend it. So, let's see what we get now. So, as you can see, we got the sharpness and everything. So, what we want to do is we actually want to move this out where it's flush with the door panel. So, we'll move it out just a little bit like that. And I'm actually going to move it up just a little bit. So, what I want to do is I want to make all these match with the rest of the door. And I'm going to keep it smooth while I do this. So, I'm going to move these back. Come in here and grab all of these. I'm going to pull these up about like that. Pull that up. Pull this up. Come down here. Pull these down. Pull these out just a little bit. I'm going to come down here and grab these and pull these down. So, there we go. Pull these in just a little bit. And that's how you do that. So, pretty easy. Let's go and create the lock real quick, because why not? This time I'm just going to make a cube. Nothing very special about it at all. And if you're wondering, I just quickly pressed the G key on the keyboard. Or not the G key, but the F key. And that's how I was able to frame in so quick. So if some of you are wondering, like, how the hell did he do that? He's Superman. No, I promise I'm not. Although it would be pretty funny if you had the powers of a superhero. Personally, is what I would do, is I'd like wait for people to bump into me, and I'd just slowly start like floating back, like, and start freaking out, you know, and then just watch the reaction. I think that'd be hilarious. But, you know, that's what I'd do if I had the power of flight. If I had the power of super strength, you know, I'd go out to like a restaurant or something like that, and I'll be like, I'm super strong, and I need really strong glasses to drink out of. Do you have any soda cans? And I just wait for him to bring me a can, and then I'd be like, okay, carefully now, and I just shove my finger right through the can or something, you know, just watch him freak out. If I had the power of invisibility, I'd probably beat the crap out of a mime. I'm like, that'd be his best performance ever. So, I'm a weird guy like that. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just move these right here. I'm going to press 3. I need to create one more edge loop up here. So, there we go. That's the door lock. As you can see, very easy to do. I don't like how it's kind of flat down here. I know it is in the picture, but personally I don't like that, so I'm just going to move these down just like that. So this way it matches up with everything else. I'm going to probably need to go ahead and move these back up here just a little bit. So now we have that. As you can see, that looks a lot better. So that's our back door panel. Let's go ahead and select it, and we're just going to do a Control G center pivot, and then we'll come in here. We're just going to move this right into place. Let's go ahead and bring these outside doors in. Just going to move this back, probably right about here, I'm thinking. Frame in on it. So then the next thing I want to do, right about there. Yeah, I didn't create the door mechanism for the front one, but it's easy to do. But that's the back door panel. We'll go ahead and select... I'm not going to select the front because I'll still have to create the door mechanism. But I will go ahead and select the back. Control G. No, I don't want to do that yet. Go ahead and select both of these. Control G, Control Shift D. I should have one. Why is it doing that? Am I missing something here, YouTube? I mean, why is it setting the center pivot there? It should be zeroed out. It's zeroed out right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and select everything. I'm going to go to Edit, Delete by Type, History, Edit, Delete by Type, Non-Deformer History, Control G, and it still sets it up there. It's not even... Why is it setting it up there? Go into Edit. Go into Group. Oh, center. Group Underworld. Group. Oops. Go into Edit. Group. I want Origin. Apply. Maybe. There we go. Okay. So now we can Control Shift D and it'll duplicate it over there for us. There we go. So that's going to be it for this video. That's how you do the rear door panel. And I'm halfway tempted to go ahead and do the front mechanism. I think I'm going to do that real quick. So I'm just going to hit Control G, Control D, and I'm going to go ahead and move this duplicated object back. Go into the side view. I'm going to move it exactly 22 units. Then I'm going to click on this image. I'm just going to bring it back where it highlights over this. Let's see. I'm going to turn off the visibility layer for those. I'm going to go ahead and delete these images. So for this, it is down a little bit, but that's okay. We're just going to select these faces right here. I'm going to go ahead and select all 4 of these. This way I won't have to worry about anything messing with me. I'm going to go ahead and extrude them down right about here. face frame in on those. Move these in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and hit G on the keyboard. Press G one more time. I'm sure some of you are like, hey, you didn't do the small one. I'm well aware of that. I don't know why I did that, but, you know, things happen. So, there we go. And this is how lazy I am. I'm just going to click on these. Oh, you bastards. Click on these two objects, Control D, and I'm just going to walk them back. Frame in on those. Move them down just a little bit. Alright, there we go. And then for these, I'm going to select these bottom faces. I'm going to move these up right about there. I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to move them in right about there. Then I need to select these and move these in. Let me shift select. This way I can grab these and pull these back out. Just a little bit, not much. And there we go. So now is what I want to do. Let's take all these, Control G, and let me see. So right here, this will be -22. Press delete. Control S. Then I'm going to select these. Control G, Control Shift D. There we go. So door panels are done. That simple. So let's go ahead and save it. That will do it for this tutorial. And on the next tutorial, we'll finish up with the rest of the interior stuff. Well, I say we'll finish up. We still have to do the headliner. It's up to you if you want to do the visors or not. That's going to be something I am going to do. But we'll also have to create all the panels and everything like that. I'm not going to do the seat belts. I think that's just a little too much for a 3D model. But if you want to, you can. It's not that hard. And I think with all these tutorials, you should be able to do that. But create the back part for the trunk cover. But anyways, as usual, the way I like to finish out these videos, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button. I try to do about a video a day. If you did not like this video, don't subscribe. If you did like this video, please hit the like button. Put on there a comment of what you liked about the video and what you'd like to see me do. If you didn't like if you did not like the video, hit the dislike button. Very simple. Comment about how much you hate my guts. Just how much you like to see me shave my head using a dull spoon and no shaving cream, and then trying to wax my butt. So, anyways, until next time, YouTube, I shall see y'all later.